There we go, there we go, there we go.
Stop.
Okay, good. Hold that for a second. Good, but straighten the wheels. Straighten your wheels now. Make it safe. Yeah, shadows.
Shadows, Steve.
Bronco. The big five. All right, shooting.
Work it. Work it, PC. Work it. We are rolling.
Yeah, there you go, PC. Yeah, thank you.
So behind the scenes, I'm gonna ask some questions. Well, when they approached me about this role, what got me most excited was that it was a true story about a real person, real situation, and I've always enjoyed seeing those type of films or documentaries about real people. And when I found out the type of person that I was going to be playing and the type of situation that I would help tell the story of, I'm excited immediately. And so that's what mostly drew me to it. I knew it would be extremely challenging, especially with the character that I'm playing. A lot of people knew him, loved him. He inspired a lot of people. So I felt like the bar would be set really, really high and it'd be really, really challenging. And for an actor, I know for me, for myself, those are the type of roles that you get excited about and you look forward to. Yeah, I jumped at the opportunity.
I'm but the messenger. It's good. All right, so we'll get a feel for this. Last look's happening. Let's load up. We're rolling. Rolling. Here we go. And action in the car.
In playing the role of Cecil Johnson, the thing that got me was how far down in the dumps the man was. I'm an underdog type of guy, and I mean he had all the chips stacked against him, you know, from being homeless and being on drugs and being in trouble with the law and being in prison and just everything that would suggest that he shouldn't have a good life. He should never have no opportunity. And for him to overcome all of that and give all the credit to God, that's a story you want to be able to tell because it's true and somebody could hear it and be inspired by it and have their whole life change. And to hear that Cecil was the type of person that when he recovered, he dedicated his life to helping other men recover in much the same way. That right there is just something that I feel even in his passing, because he's no longer with us, but if he was still here today, that's what he would be doing. And so now here's a film that's going to tell his story that when people see it, men can change even still by hearing this man tell his story. And we're telling it through a film. So now I get to be the person that's portraying him and I get to help tell his story and help it live on. And he it's almost like he's continued to do the work through being able to tell his story. So if people see this film and they're struggling or going through things and they're able to change by just seeing what Cecil went through and the way that he recovered through the help of Jesus in his life, man, that's the thing that will make me most proud of even being a part of this. So I admire the heart that the man had, and hopefully people, when they see this, can see his heart through it and understand the amazing transformation that happened to Cecil Johnson. It's been great. Everybody here has been fantastic and just got an upbeat attitude, and I think it's the whole aura of the story that we're trying to tell. Everybody can see how special it is, and everybody just wants to be a key part of telling the story, and we're accomplishing that. I was really happy when Art reached back out, and I say back out because this has been going on for some time now. He reached out a while back about this project, and it just wasn't ready to go yet. And then so when he reached out again to say, hey, it's a go, I was already familiar with the story, and for Art to tell me that He had always thought of no one else but me to play this role. That was encouraging to me. And at that point, you don't want to let the guy down. And so I had a lot of people I didn't want to let down. But Art is one of the nicest guys that I've met. And he has made good on everything that he said he was going to do. He said he thought of me for the role. There was no one else. He said, I'm going to enjoy Leesburg. And he said, you are going to embody Cecil and bring him to life. And I'm grateful that he looked for me to be able to do that and had enough confidence and faith in me to cast me for the role. And him and his wife have been awesome. And I look forward to just continuing to basically say thank you by the way that I do what I do. That's the way I plan to say thank you. Is I want to, when he's done with all of this, I want him to say, yep, that's Cecil. That's what I hope for. When it comes down to the subject matter and the material that No Vacancy addresses, I'm glad that they're doing it. You know, we're talking about, you know, racism a little bit and drugs and just having a hard life. But then it just makes for a great opportunity to show the redemption that you can get from the Lord, and the fact that life isn't always just, you know, peachy, and it isn't always easy, and there are clever ways to be able to tell it in such a way that anybody can see it, because anybody is going to be able to see this movie and be able to grow from it. And so I applaud them for not shying away from it, but doing it in such a way where anybody can see it and learn and grow. And they've done a good job of that. And there's nothing that I've done in here that I'm not proud to be able to show anybody. And it's a real story with a real antidote. And that answer is Jesus. And this is the same way Cecil would want it told. In fact, I think if he was here, he'd be real proud of the job that everybody has done in coming together and giving people hope. And so I just think the darkness of it, it really strengthens the hope that you find. And so I'm proud. I can't wait to see the impact that it has.
Yeah, we'll
Let's do a piece.
In preparing to do this role, one of the most important things for me was to just be authentic to who Cecil was. Again, when you're playing a real person, there are real people who know him, and I didn't want anybody to see this and just say, well, that's not Cecil. So I got a chance to meet his wife, Victoria, who was also just a fantastic person, who basically, to me, she's the female version of Cecil with everything that she went through, and now she's helping women in much the same way that he helped men. And in talking to her, I was able to just ask her a lot of questions. We jumped on a Zoom call, and I just asked her just how did he act when he wasn't around other people, when he's just with you and just sitting around and just having a conversation. And she would tell me all of that. And she even gave me a link to where I could watch a documentary that the two of them did together, and I watched them tell their story. So I'm sitting there just listening to the two of them tell their story. I have 2 sermons that Cecil preached that I listen to, so I can just really hear when he tells his own story, how he tells it, and the passion that's in his voice. And so just a combination of all those things, and then talking to Pastor Cliff and talking to Art and talking to different people who knew him, you kind of start to get who he is for as much as you can, having not met him. And then the rest of it, I just told myself to just stay out of the way and don't try to overdo it or underdo it. Take what you've learned and just go with that. And so for me, that's how I'm kind of just take the approach of doing this role. But that was my preparation. And they're saying that they can see him. So that's an honor for me. That's what you want to hear. Hopefully those who know him, when they see it, they'll say the same thing.
That experience, and now that you're here too as an extra on the set.
It's a wow moment. Kind of surprised, but he's an awesome man that deserves it. He was a man after God's own heart. I could talk to him about anything. I could call him. He brought laughter to the family. He was a family man. He was someone that I could call if I had an issue, and he'd say, okay, baby girl, let's pray about this. Or he'd give me a scripture to read that I could ponder on or to pray about. He was always trying to help the unfortunate. And I think that's because he had been there before, and he knew how that felt. He knew how that looked. So anybody that was the underdog, that was his heart. It was overwhelming. I think the funeral was about maybe 3.5, 4 hours. So just sitting there, but it was a moment of you cry a minute, you laugh a minute, because there were so many different people getting up, telling their stories, how he had touched their lives, things that he had did for them. Of course, there's that moment, oh, well, this is really goodbye. This is really, my final goodbye. I won't see him again. But it was an experience that he had lived his life. He had did what God had called him to do. And he was ready.
That's it. That was easy. Look at that. You did great.
Thank you.
For me, I'm always just taken back whenever I get a chance to do a film, and I happen to be paired up with people that I've probably watched growing up, and because I was a football player, I wasn't trying to be an actor, and that wasn't what I was thinking about doing. But those familiar with me know that the Lord kind of shifted my passions to acting. I started doing that, but all throughout my life, I've seen so many actors in so many different movies and TV shows. But now throughout my career, I have been in movies with all of those people that I never knew one day I would be sharing the stage with or the screen with. So it's no different right now with Sean and Dean, people that I've seen in movies. And whether it's Superman or whether it's Ace Ventura, you're not saying to yourself, I'm gonna be in a movie with them one day. That was the first thing from my mind. And then you show up, and there they are. So that's been a story of my career over the last 10, 11 years. And I give God the glory for that. And one thing I will say is I'm gonna have to work real hard to get rid of this Southern twang that's been stuck in my voice trying to be like Cecil. Because even now I'm seeing it go in and out as I'm talking. But that's the fun part of the preparation, is to sit up here and listen to Cecil talk. And I was telling people who asked me about the character, and I say, if Cecil was here, he'd say, if the Lord can change a man like me, he sure can change a man like you, or a woman like you. Yes, he can. That's how he talked, and I just love it. And so it's been great. All right.
Good.
Perfect.
Good.
All right.
Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Let's shiver.
That's right. That's a little more fun than the other one. All your other ones are like.
Thank you, background. Otherwise, you make it look great. Be sure to check in with wardrobe department.